Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Silver Silk channel. I am Nealay Patel, the owner, designer, and educator here at Silver Silk and more. And I've got the lovely and talented Miss Deb Floros with me.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
I'm so glad you could hop back on. We are getting back into it with our 10 jewelry making mantras to live by. And this is it started kind of as a blog post over on the Silver Silk website. So if you're wanting to see the full post, you can go to silversilkonline.com and just simply search for the 10 jewelry making mantras to live by. Or this content also exists in the footer of the website. But this started out as a written content, and then you were like, well, let's keep the magic going and let's do some videos with it and see if we can inspire some folks to try and look at design in a different way. So before I get too far ahead, Deb, maybe you can let everyone know who you are, because you are quite the prolific and talented designer that really took this idea and made it so much more broad and exciting and well thought out and inspiring. I could go on. And then maybe tell us also what the 10 jewelry making mantras are in concept.
Okay. Well, I'm Deb Floros, and I am a jewelry designer. I've been making jewelry now for almost 14 years. I kind of do a little bit of everything. I sell my jewelry under the brand Deb Loves, and I spell it L-U-V-S, Jewelry Designs. I sell on Etsy and Amazon Handmade, Facebook, Instagram, really anywhere someone will buy something from me from. I'm not picky.
You've got quite the marketplace.
Yes. So I've been making and doing the jewelry thing for long enough that I am completely obsessed. I think the obsession actually gets stronger with each year. So I think the way that this sort of came to be was thinking about sometimes when you sit down and you are ready to make something, you sort of freeze. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I've got either too much in front of me or not enough in front of me. What am I going to do? How am I going to get started? And I kind of went through a mental checklist of what are some of the things I do when I sit down and just start to really get serious about making something, and I'm having one of those moments. Usually for me, it's I've got really kind of too much going on, which, if you see the mess behind me, it's always sort of like, so.
I think we all have one of those for sure.
Yeah. So the mantras are a little bit of a way to reorient yourself to your creativity. It's about thinking outside of the box, trying new things, just kind of letting go of what you normally go through and think about when you sit down. Maybe you're very regimented in your style. It's stepping away from that and expanding your brain. And I think we came up with some fun challenges for everyone. I made my pieces, which I still treasure very much. I don't wear them until we actually do this. So I'll be able to wear this piece after this video.
The world needs to see it.
So this is all about sort of challenging yourself, and we're challenging the Silkies and anyone else who's willing to take the challenge and try out these mantras.
Fantastic. And I think we set up this environment to be challenging and inviting. And also, it is okay to think outside the box and try new things and even make mistakes, because that's the part of learning that we always forget, is we have to kind of fall before and then, make mistakes and figure stuff out as it happens. But then we learn and grow from it, and it puts, it kind of sheds light in a new area that we would have never thought of before. I feel like these little things also happen during conversations too. We just think of new ideas, and so I'm always thankful whenever I can collaborate with my good friends out there. So, what is the mantra that we're going to work on?
Mantra number 5, believe it or not. This one's called Be Brave, which I feel like I'm a little too brave sometimes. Sometimes people go, whoa, that's a little crazy. But I honestly believe that sometimes we need to actually ask ourselves to be brave. This one is about, let's say you sit down and your go-to thing is, I'm going to string an 18-inch necklace with round beads. That's my thing. And I love to do that too. But sometimes we get into a rut of those sort of same patterns or same practices or same techniques. And oh my gosh, there's so much out there that is available to us that, gosh, we should take advantage of it. So this one is about getting away from those traditional ruts or those traditional makes and trying something really, really different. And think about being bold and brave in what you put together. That's what this one's about.
I see. Quite the challenging concept for sure. Something that just came to my mind is it would be a way to, I think, a good way to self-discover this be brave concept, even by taking maybe some of the last 5 jewelry pieces that you did, and then writing down what techniques you used or what they have in common, and then flipping the script and then writing down, like, these are all the comparisons on one side, and then a complete contrast in the other column to see, like, okay, these don't have this, so maybe I try that instead.
I like that. I like that idea a lot.
I think that could be really a fun, useful way to, physically just see what you have, what you've been doing, and then to, like, really do something completely different for fun.
Yeah.
In moving
The
forward.
challenge we put in the mantra was, and I have to read it because it's funny, pretend that you're a scientist and carefully examine the object and out loud describe what you're looking at as though you're seeing it for the first time. And I thought I would pull something up. I've got a little faceted bead, and it's a lovely color. So, gosh, if I were a scientist.
Let's do this.
Wow, that is a lovely faceted bead, and it's not exactly round, but what can I do with it? Well, your gut's going to tell you, put it on a string, right? Put it on a string,
Got a hole,
put it around
on
your
a
neck.
string.
But could you not, like, take that and drop it on a head pin and create a tiny pendant? Or take this and add it to an earring finding for an asymmetrical earring? Just this one simple little thing that you've probably seen a million times. Think about it in a way that I want to do something different with this. Well, that's the challenge we gave everyone.
That's a very clever way to look at it. I think it's just simple as starting with a little bead, seeing what the possibilities might be, and then kind of narrowing down to what you want to try and accomplish from there. And again, we just invite you to make those mistakes and just to realize, like, if things are not looking as intentional as they should, then maybe you kind of reframe the idea into executing something that you can with the technique that you do know, but you know that you've at least tried to do something different. And I think that's where it's really important.
Yeah.
So,
you want to see what I made?
Yeah, of course.
So this isn't terribly brave for me, because this is kind of what I would maybe normally do. And this is a kind of a design that I think I'm sort of known for, but I wanted to illustrate that the thought process was still the same sort of thinking for me. So this is a choker. And I know people get like weird about chokers, but I do think just about anyone can wear a choker. And when I saw this silver silk hollow chain or hollow mesh,
Mhm.
um, I just died over it because this color is so good. It's like that burnt brick red, um, great for just about any season. And when I opened the package, I had this like total recall of some rubber tubing that I had stashed away in an extremely complimentary color. And so I grabbed my memory wire, which is the easiest way to make a choker, and I combined those two things. And then I added these little spiky components. Oh gosh, I never get that right. Sorry. So, so these little spiky things here, a little brave, a little bold, especially for
Oh
a
my
woman of a
God.
certain age, perhaps. But I also do this concept of an open front choker. I really like this. I think this actually can make your choker a little bit more dramatic. So this is a brave thing to wear for some, a brave thing to design. But I think this is really kind of a fun piece, totally outside of the box, something that you wouldn't probably normally make, but you actually might find that you really love something like this once you actually put it together.
There are several things that I love about this design. The first is I feel like because you use memory wire, it kind of opens up, and also because you're facing it front, you're kind of being sympathetic to how it's worn because a choker just sounds violent, right? It sounds like it's really going to be tight against the neck, but this is more like a hugger because it's not
Yeah.
like it's comfortable to wear and it kind of accommodates a lot of different neck spaces if you or neck sizes or whatever you want to call it. So I think in that sense it's just a very like ergonomically well designed piece. Second is that I love the minimal use of materials, but you have intentionally placed them in a way that's just a beautiful arrangement. You don't have to have a lot of things, a lot of beads, a lot of materials, a lot of chain to like make a really nicely designed piece. And I think you've demonstrated that here beautifully. And I love the open concept in front as well, just for the fact that it's unexpected. But it does, especially if I were to wear something like that, because I wouldn't want anything against, my throat just to like, yeah, it would feel very uncomfortable. So I like the way that this is designed a lot.
An alternative would be to wear it in the other direction and perhaps put your focal elements here.
Sure, yeah.
With memory wire, you have some flexibility in what you can do. Putting it that way with an opening in the back as wide as this one probably isn't advisable because it could slide off if you have too
Mm,
much material on it. But anything can be worked out. So, I challenge as part of the challenge, if somebody wants to make a choker, they can come up with their own creative way to work through it. I mean, heck, it could wrap around multiple times. I mean,
yeah.
memory wire is fantastic. And there's actually I think a heavy duty. This is not the heavy duty, but there's also a heavy duty that allows you some more flexibility too.
Oh, cool.
The other thing that I think is really relevant, the timing is perfect, is the introduction of pipe chain.
Yeah, which I figured out something that I think I want to make because I've been obsessed with it. And for me, I don't normally make these a whole lot, so I'm going to take this challenge. that you have bestowed upon us.
Take it.
And what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna flash this graphic real quick, and then we're gonna get our camera set up as we're doing it. But I think you presented us with a really smart and cool challenge that I am just itching to get to. So let's do this.
Let's do
I'm going
it.
to flip this around. So one of my newest jams that I've been doing is rings. And with the introduction of pipe chain, which is literally what you had made with yours, it was just a different version of it. This is the pipe chain that I now have on silversilkonline.com. So it is a silicone tubing that has the intricately woven chain right up against it. And I love this because it does open up quite a bit of versatility. You can literally pass any kind of stringing material through the pipe chain, as Deb did with the memory wire, whether it be craft wire or string or leather, beading wire. I could go on and on. The only thing I would caution is that if you do have any sort of silicone or rubber allergy, I would probably steer away from this and use maybe some of the other chains to accomplish this mantra. But if you don't have any allergies, then I would say you are ready to go to town on this stuff. This is so, so fun. And I'm going to work with the one bead that actually, when you held up the one and were examining it as though you were a scientist, it really got me like excited to try mine too, because I have a faceted bead as well. And I thought, instead of stringing it as one would do, I thought I would try some wire wrapping to get my ring kind of fastened together. So why don't I just go ahead and dive into it? Because this is going to be a really fun and fast and just awesome project, I think. But here, I'm just going to cut myself a 6-inch length of craft wire. I'm using 20 gauge. And I'm going to cut an equal amount of 26 gauge craft wire too. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, I just have a bead. And then I've got about maybe 2.5 inches of pipe chain in the malachite color. And I'm just going to go ahead and string both of my wires right up through the pipe chain.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy so far. What I'm going to do to one end is I'm going to create a little scroll using a pair of round nose pliers. So to do this, I'm just going to twist it with fold it with my round nose pliers, trim a little bit off the end, and then kind of jump back in with my round nose pliers and sort of just curve my way into making that first scroll there. And the idea here is to sort of tuck and roll instead of just making a hard P-shaped loop. You get a little bit more of a rounder scroll from it. But I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple scrolls there and I used some chain nose pliers to stabilize everything as I was scrolling it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is when you do trim the pipe chain, there are little wire fragment pieces that tend to stick on at the end there. So what I do is I just grab another pair of chain nose pliers and I tend to just pluck them off before I do anything. And I should have covered that earlier, but I forgot. Or I thought maybe I had cleaned it earlier, but there's usually about like 3 or 4 pieces after cutting it. And they just kind of tend to get in the way of your crafting or crimping. If you should choose to crimp the ends of pipe chain, you can actually use my findings for that. Or you don't have to. That's kind of the beauty of this particular new chain. So yeah, I got all those little wire fuzzies out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and create another scroll on this end. I'm going to trim just a little bit of it off. So I don't think I need too much at the end. I'm going to jump back into my round nose pliers and start to fold. You see, once I start to kind of fold, what I do is I just trim a little bit away at the end there at an angle. And then I kind of just go out and then wrap it back in. And it kind of helps to smooth out that scroll just a little bit. Perhaps that one was not as successful as the other side, but that's okay. Once I start to kind of roll it, it'll work itself into place. Okay, I'm going to break the neck just after the pipe chain. And when I start to scroll that wire in, you could see that it ends up quite equally symmetrical on both sides there. So now what I'm going to do is actually just fold both my wire ends up. This creates the ring part of my ring, the part that goes around my finger at least. And then I should be able to just string the bead here through and then wrap the end of my wire around the neck of my scroll there. And this is one of the fastest, funnest projects that you can use any bead with, or series of beads even. If you're really wanting to be brave, and I think what I'm going to do is actually scroll that in. If you're really wanting to be brave and, get some crazy big beads in there, you could possibly do that. Definitely doable.
It's brave, and it also works as a weapon in case you need it.
It sure does. One thing I forgot to do before I wrap this wire end in, I'm going to straighten this back out, is I need to actually crisscross my other wire through before I wrap it in, because then it'll be very difficult to do it later. So let me go and do that now. But yes, you can be brave out on the streets in case you find yourself needing to do some 2 a.m. grocery shopping. You'll have a weapon on hand.
What color pipe chain is that, Nealay?
This one's the malachite color pipe chain. So it's got a very greeny, it's almost a mixture between turquoise and that green of the malachite.
It's beautiful.
So I wasn't really quite sure what to name it before, but then I have so much turquoise other stuff. So I was like, I think I need to diversify the portfolio a little bit and give malachite some love.
Yes. Everyone loves malachite.
I think so. It's such a beautiful stone, and it does match pretty well with the pipe chain too. I just need to get more of it on hand so I can do some creativity with it. It's a beautiful gemstone though. So once I wrap it around the stem, I can simply trim those little wire bits off, kind of work that little piece of wire in so that it's not sticking out or poking anyone. And pretty much have a ring to go. So what I love is that it's got this nice illusion effect where you don't really see the wire wrapping on either end, and it just makes for a really pretty thing. So this is me being brave and wearing something that is very oversized, but still really fun and colorful and so easy to make.
I love it. I think that is the perfect example of brave. And I read somewhere that the finger that you wear rings on also can mean something.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when you wear your rings on your index finger, that it's some kind of you're a leader, you're in control of things, you're confident. So check that out. You've got a bold and brave and confident ring to wear with the new product.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I could make 1 million of these and just have all the power on all the fingers.
I love it.
Well, we are now challenging the Silkies to go out and create what it is to be brave for you guys, and invite you to post your design in the Silver Silk Silkies Facebook group. So, Deb, is there anything else that we've left out of this little presentation of ours?
Nothing I can think of. I'm just anxious to see the bravery of the rest of the crew. Sometimes when we give them that challenge, it can be a little scary what they might come up with.
It's so true, but I certainly live for it. That's for sure.
Me too.
All right, everyone. We will leave you with this challenge, and hope that we've inspired you to go out and create something and just try something new, make some mistakes, and we are here for your education, learning, creativity, and hopefully some giggles along the way.
Hashtag Silver Silk Mantra.
That's right. That's right. Don't forget to post that whenever you post your design. So we will see you again on the next mantra.
Thanks.